Hi there, Scorpio. Thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for April. As this month begins, the Sun and Mercury are in the part of your horoscope to do with the detail of situations. Your work, health and dietary considerations are also in focus. But the Sun is forging a fine link with Saturn. And if you can really manage your resources precisely, it can be a time when you feel more secure. But there's another counter influence at the start of this month, which could create a certain amount of stress. This sees the Sun clashing with Pluto. Your point of view and ideas may come up against some kind of resistance in the first week of this month. But also be aware that Mars, your more ancient ruler, is going to be clashing with the rather dreamy influence of Neptune all through this month. Now, Neptune's in the part of your horoscope that's very lovely. It's to do with enjoying the good things in life. But it can see you in this particular angle with Mars really almost go for things a little bit too much when it comes to escapism, especially around calorific goodies, sugary stuff, alcohol, anything which helps you to relieve the stress and tension of life, but perhaps you know is okay in moderation, needs to be precisely that. But Neptune can distort things, and Mars is very much about desire. So this could really come into your love life as well, as much as the things that you find rather yummy. So that potential for self-discipline that the Sun provides in its angle with Saturn is one that you're going to have to work at a little bit, I think. And as you get to the end of week one, there is a change which can be very helpful to you. This is because Mercury moves into your opposite sign. And if it has been creating a certain amount of friction, simply because maybe you've been so focused on a detail, it's been harder to see the big picture, this is going to help you to be more cooperative and to be a bit more detached and see that other people have a point of view which is entirely legitimate, even if it's different to yours, because you could be a bit evangelical at the start of this month. But Venus also moves. It moves out of a delicious part of your horoscope, but just lowers your expectations a little bit as it comes into the sign of Aries. But there is also an Aries new moon on the 7th. Now this is a fantastic opportunity to give your situation some kind of new beginning, a reboot, particularly if you have been tempted off some kind of a pledge that you've made at the start of the year as part of your New Year's resolutions. So if you're wanting to be that much more virtuous in your approach, I do feel it's going to be good to be open-minded about how you can achieve your results, because things that you've tried in the past may not be appropriate for you now. And that may be even the type of work you're doing, because I think the sense of restlessness that you may have been experiencing for some time really is going to reach a peak in the 2 or 3 weeks following this particular new moon. So if you find yourself looking at completely different opportunities, or refreshing your approach, or alternatively buzzing with stressful nerves, then I think it is time to examine your situation to try to create some liberation from whatever it is that's proving to be so burdensome. If you can step back and perhaps start to listen to other people's viewpoints a little more, some interesting information can come in for you, particularly on the back of Mercury's angle with Jupiter, which is from the 12th to the 17th. I think someone could be quite inspirational to you, provide quite a lead. This person may be someone who you know personally. It could be someone you encounter through researching something, but their point of view may be just really very good for you in the long term, but it may be something that you want to work on with another person, not necessarily on your own. Now the Sun is going to be moving on the 20th into your opposite sign too, but just before then Venus starts to tangle with Uranus, and for the following week they're going to be side by side broadly. Now this can create some restlessness around relationships. In a positive sense, it could almost force you to come to terms with something that's not working and try to push it to some kind of conclusion. It could be a relationship with an employer. It could be a relationship within yourself in terms of how you've approached something. But some kind of fresh view of how you interact with other people can actually be very good for you at this time, particularly as the Sun ingresses into Taurus, and then on the 22nd there is a full moon, but it's in your sign, so it's going to be a very important full moon for you. And if a relationship is not working well, I think this may be a touch and go moment. But it doesn't have to bring the curtain down on this tie. And Venus moves late in the month to give you an opportunity to use dialogue, the to and fro, trying to meet someone a little more in the middle. Because I think as you start this month, the things that seem out of balance, out of kilter, can seem amplified, bigger, enlarged. They really can take on a life force of their own. And remember the distorting influence of Neptune on Mars can really see you yearning for things that aren't necessarily very good for you, when maybe you just need to simplify your life. And then as you do, and you can become more conscious of not being quite so tetchy about things not being quite perfect, as you interact with other people in the last 10 days of this month, there's an awful lot of agreement that can be reached. But I do feel that you will be realigning your outlook quite considerably as this month comes to a close on how your outlook was at the beginning of the month. But a certain amount of transition may see you on edge or having to confront things that up until now maybe you've known about but have been reluctant to really grapple with. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.